Hello friends, welcome to Studies and More. Now, today we are going to start with the basic Java, and the topic is Introduction to Object Oriented Programming. Now, before I start this, I want to say something that since this is my first YouTube video, uh, so I will prefer if you just subscribe my channel, and if you like this you can like it. To subscribe you just have to click on that bell icon beneath this video to get other notifications of the videos I upload, and based on the subscribes and comments and likes on this video I am going to upload the next video. Now my channel is not basically only on studies. Now the name is Studies and More. That more word is there. More means anything, any stuff, not illegal of course, but anything. Suppose a review on a phone, or maybe a game, anything I want, but mainly the studies related things. Alright, so let's start now. So, what is Java? Java is actually a programming language, just a programming language, a programming language. That is Java. And why Java is made and what is its use, I'll tell you later. First, you have to see this. First topic is object and classes. Now, what is object? Object and classes, these two things are the main components of a Java program. What is an object? An object is an identifiable entity with common characteristics and behavior as that of a class. And class is a blueprint of a set of objects with similar characteristics and behavior as that of an object. So you can see that object and class both are interrelated to each other. Object is called object is dependent upon the class as an identifiable entity with common characteristics and behavior as that of a class, and class is also dependent on object. Class is called object factory, right? It's a blueprint of a set of objects. You know blueprint? Yeah, blueprint of a set of objects. It's known as class. So what did I say? Class is an object factory. It creates the object. Class is the main thing. Under class, object is declared. Alright? Next we come to procedure oriented programming language. Actually, before learning object oriented, you have to learn what is procedure oriented programming and what is the difference between the two of them. The first characteristics of procedure oriented programming is, we call it POP. It is, we emphasize on procedure rather than data. What data is given in the program, what data is what data is given by the user, it doesn't emphasize on that. It emphasizes on the procedure, that is how the program runs, how, what procedure does the program follow to run. All right, so this is it. The next characteristic is, it is not highly secured and it is freely accessed from one function to another. So you can access, it is not highly secure. Object oriented is highly secure, but procedure oriented programming is not highly secured. We can freely access from one function to another, which means you create two functions, and from one function you can call another function freely without having to come across any restrictions at all. The third characteristic is, it's just a theory based programming approach, is called top down approach. It's a theory base, you have to just memorize it. The programming approach is called top down approach. The fourth characteristic is, the variables and methods we have to declare first before using it in the program. In procedure oriented programming, before starting any function you have to declare declare the function name, the arguments, the parameters it will pass. You have to declare at the top, that the compiler have to expect this kind of function in the later part of the same program. That is the main characteristic. This is what it means, that the variables and methods we have to declare first before using it in the program. The fifth part is, programs are divided into small parts known as procedures. Alright, this is also a theory. Programs are divided into small parts known as procedures. I think I don't need to tell you this, you can understand this. The examples are C and basic. Okay, just remember these two, the C programming language and basic programming language. These two are examples of procedure oriented programming language. Next we come to object oriented programming language. Now this object oriented programming language is important because this Java is a fully object oriented programming language, and since it is this, you have to learn this by heart because it is very important. Now the first point is, you can see here what is written. In POP we emphasize on procedure rather than data. In OOP we emphasize on data rather than procedure. This is actually the difference between the two programming languages. Alright, in object oriented we emphasize on data rather than procedure. Procedure is not very important in object oriented programming. It is the data that is important. Alright, the data that is provided, and based on that data the program is run and executed. Alright, and the number 2 is, data is highly secured and cannot be accessed from one class to another. Here it was written, data is not highly secure and freely accessible from one class to another. It means we could access the data, we could access any function from one function to another we can call. But here data is highly secure and cannot be accessed. In POP there is no restrictions as to who should use or view the program, who should call the functions in the program. But in Java or in object oriented programming, there is some functions called private, then public, then protected. They are called access specifier. The access is denied if it is named private, which means not all people can access it. Third is programming approach, is called bottom up approach. Fourth is variables and methods we can declare whenever we want. Here we had to declare first before using it in the program, but here we can declare whenever we want. Okay, and the last is, programs are divided into small parts known as objects, here known as procedures. Simple. So the examples of it are C++ and Java. Here was C and basic, here is C++ and Java. Alright, so this is actually object oriented programming is better than procedure oriented programming. You can see by the difference of it. You can write it as a difference also. Now let's come to the features of object oriented programming. Now what are the features? The first feature is called encapsulation. What is encapsulation? Encapsulation is the wrapping up of data and functions into a singular unit called class. So the data and functions that are available in the program, we wrap them up into a singular unit called class, which means under class we declare the data and functions, so that at the end, so under the class we declare them. So it is basically the wrapping, you know, wrapper. So wrapping up of data and function, like a gift bag or something, into a singular unit called class. It's known as data encapsulation. What is abstraction? Abstraction is the act of representing essential features without including the background details. Alright, the background details are hidden from the user or programmer, whoever it is, then but the essential features are represented but without including the background details. Alright, so the main thing which is required is showed, but what is happening behind it, how it is happening, this is not necessary to show to the user, so it doesn't show. And the next is inheritance, the properties of one class to acquire from another class. It's the same as function calling, right? The properties of one class it acquires from another class. Alright, okay. Next feature is polymorphism. What is polymorphism? To acquire more than one form is termed as polymorphism is in Java. Now, a polymorphism means to acquire more than one form. For example, in an example, I'm gonna tell you, like Vishnu. Vishnu or Narayan actually. Narayan has so many forms, like Ram, then Krishna, then other avatars like Baraha avatar, then avatar, and other avatars and Kalki avatar and all. So these are the different forms of Lord Vishnu. Yeah, the same thing is like this in polymorphism. Polymorphism is same thing, to acquire more than one form. In Java it is implemented by function overloading, means the same function name is used with different parameters, and since the same function name is used, the same thing is repeated again and again, but due to different kinds of parameters, the functions can be distinguished from one another. But since the function name is same, it is the same but with different forms. That is polymorphism, and it is called function overloading in Java. The fifth one is data hiding. The logical insulation of data is known as data hiding. It's just not very important. And the message passing. Message passing is when an object tries to interact with another object, they interact itself through functions or method arguments. I think you can understand this. They are called messages, and the procedure is called message passing. Alright. Now the next topic is classes. It's about the classes. There are two kinds of classes. One is base class and derived class. What is base class? The class properties accessed by another class is called the base class. It is also known as a parent class or superclass. The other one is derived class. The class that access the properties from base class is called derived class. So basically, derived class access the properties from base class. Base class is the parent, the main class, and derived class is the child. It access the properties from the base class. Okay. Now the final topic of this video is the important features of Java program. The first is Java supports object-oriented programming language. It's obvious, told you before. Second is it is platform independent programming language. Now C, Basic, the procedure oriented programming is the platform dependent, which means you write a program, you take it on an external storage device like pen drive and all, and you take it to another machine, another computer, and try to run it, then it can happen that it won't run on that device because they doesn't share the same specifications. Alright, but Java is something which is platform independent, which means you write a program in one machine and you take it on an external device, and you can and then you can run it on any machine in the world. And how it is done, I'll tell you in the next class. And the third one is it is case sensitive, which means it treats the uppercase and lowercase letters differently. All right. So uh, this is for today, and in the next video, which I'm going to upload later, depending upon the number of likes I get on this video and the comments. And if you have any doubts regarding this, you can write it on the comment section of this video. And the next video, I hope the next video will be coming soon. So for now, goodbye.